Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Coming to you live from the outskirts of the Z Gaming Saloon for April 18th, 2020, with your hosts, Facebreaker2448 and Rampant Epsilon.
Hi.
Is it bad that there's a thing I want to talk about, but I kind of don't want to because it just reminds me of something I don't like. Because like the rest of the internet, I want to talk about the 7 Remake. Specifically, the ending of 7 Remake, which has polarized the internet. And I'm not sure how to describe this to someone who doesn't have a familiarity with 7 already, in some respect.
Yeah, because I don't have that much. I know enough, but I also don't care enough to know the rest of it, so it's like,
Yeah.
And I'm sure I heard pitchforks sharpening. I just really don't care.
I don't blame you, to be honest. How best to describe this? And I guess I'll just say it right now. If you care about the 7 Remake ending, spoilers, 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 list spoilers. All the spoilers for the 7 Remake ending since I've seen it. And I feel weirdly, not like fully vested to talk about it, but tangentially vested to talk about it. Because Tetsuya Aurora is directing this game, and, you know, Kingdom Hearts is his fucking baby, and oh boy, does this ending feel like a bit of Kingdom Hearts got into Final Fantasy. And I am sure that has already set anybody going, oh no, what did they do? And I'm just like, well, okay. So you know how the 7 Remake is supposed to, like, I don't know, like, faithfully remake the whole Midgard section?
Yeah.
Well, they do that for the most part. Except, you know the flying ghosts and specters and stuff?
Yeah.
That prop up in the trailers?
Yeah.
Well, those are, in actuality, the arbiters of fate, as said in the game, that are trying to make sure that the 7 Remake happens exactly like the original Final Fantasy VII does. Right down to literally ripping people out of scenes they don't.
Really, Discord? Try that again. Uh-oh. You might try reconnecting if you're able to hear me. That might not be a good sign. Okay. Apparently the internet derped. It just didn't want us talking about 7 Remake. which stands to reason. Well, he said 1 second. I think internet did more than derp. Feel like this is very needed at the moment. Just because I can. Just because I can.
Am I back?
Looks like it now.
Okay, I don't know what the fuck happened. My internet just went.
It just self-destructed.
Apparently, the ghost from 7 Remake decided to intervene, so I didn't talk about the 7 Remake ending.
Yep, because it has to make sure that everything happened just like in 7.
Yeah. Anyway, as I was trying to say, that's what the ghosts are trying to do. They even go as far as to bring Barrett back to life after Sephiroth stabs him. You can imagine where this is going to go. So at the end of 7, your party, after they get out of Midgard, are confronted by Sephiroth, who invites you to defy fate. And defy fate you do by beating the shit out of the Arbiters of Fate. Please tell me I didn't disconnect again.
No, you didn't.
Am I still here?
You're still here.
So fucking help me.
Can you not hear me?
Oh my god!
Oh, wow. Your sound's broke. That is funny.
What is happening?
That one's not internet, that one's your sound. Not that you can really hear me. Yeah, he kind of can't hear me. I feel like this is technical difficulties, the stream. Welcome back again.
Alright, I'm back.
Yes, you are back.
Okay.
That last time, I don't know what happened on your side, but that was not the internet.
No, it was. I lost internet again. I don't know what's happening. Can it just stay so I can finish what I have to say about the 7 remake? For fuck's sakes.
Nope. This is the internet's way of saying you don't need to tell people.
Apparently not. Anyway, where did I leave off?
I don't remember now. Because you picked up perfectly from it the last time, and then this time I just completely am drawing a blank.
Oh. I was saying something about Sephiroth inviting the party to the 5-8. After you get out of Midgard.
Yeah.
Okay. So you do that. You beat up the ghosts that all coalesce into not Darkseid from Kingdom Hearts. And then you beat that, thereby changing the timeline and making it to where anything can happen, including Zack Fair, who is a character from the past in Final Fantasy VII, who is dead, now is not dead. In an alternate timeline. Maybe. Are you confused yet? Don't worry, it gets better. Sephiroth then shows up and you fight him, while also referencing the final fight of said game, the original game. And he more or less tells you, you have 7 seconds till the end, make the most of it, which might be referencing the death of Aerith, and Cloud maybe having 7 seconds to save her. And possibly fuck over the timeline even harder than he already has. So, yeah. That is what we have to look forward to. Is now they've more or less went, throw out the 7 script, we're writing something new and getting super hard metatextual with you. I don't have very high confidence in them, because I saw how they built the stuff in Kingdom Hearts 3. It did not end well. So how do you feel about this?
I don't know how to feel on that, actually.
I know when I showed Locke and this and talked to him about it, especially it's about the Zack Fair stuff, since he likes Zack Fair a whole lot. He was kind of excited that Zack might be alive, but also Zack being alive radically alters the 7 timeline going into 7 in of itself, which is why it's probably an alternate timeline. But even then, why is it an alternate timeline? Why are we getting metatextual and all this? Why does this sound more complicated than it should be? And also, why do we need to contextualize us doing things different in the 7 remake at all? Why can't it just be different to be different?
Reasons.
I'm sure RE2 and RE3 have their key differences from their original games, but they don't have to make it a thing in the story that it's different. That's my whole thing with this. So yeah, I just wanted to get that. I just wanted to get that off my chest because I saw it. And I've heard people are like, "I'm so excited because we don't know what we're expecting," and I go, "Are you sure you want that? Are you sure you should be excited for this unknown possibilities of a team who, if you asked any Kingdom Hearts fan, wasn't that thrilled by the end of Kingdom Hearts 3.
Well, is it bad of me to be like, why did they put Kingdom Hearts in Final Fantasy? After hearing you say about all that? Because that felt like something that you would have saw in a Kingdom Hearts game more so than a Final Fantasy game.
Yeah, especially the game that has nothing to do with any of that in its original conception. Like this whole Destiny, alternate timelines, all that bullshit doesn't exist in 7. That is all brand new, the 7 Remake. All this extra bullshit. Which also feels extremely Kingdom Hearts. And is extremely, we don't need this. We don't need this for a 7 Remake, even. It can just be different. That's okay. You don't have to contextualize it. People will accept it being different because it's a fucking remake. Also, we get the fun of, this is why it's not called 7 Remake 1. Because the next one will be named differently. So, yay! Yeah. Anywho, now that I got it off my chest, Todd, what have you been playing the last couple weeks?
Honestly, not a whole lot. Yeah, honestly, not a whole lot. I've played a little bit of Ori in the Blind Forest, and God, that game was so good.
I can imagine.
But yeah, outside of that, not really much else.
I am chipping away at Persona 5 Royale. I am up to Dungeon 4. It feels weird because, like, the substantial stuff I'd be interested in is kind of spread throughout the game and is mainly in the third semester at the end of the game. So a lot of the stuff that I'm finding new is just the mechanical gameplay stuff. Because, like, right now, there's only 2 new social links for me to explore at this current moment. It's the student not counselor, because that's Makoto, and that's normal. That's standard Persona 5. But a psychiatrist that the school has hired that you talk to, and he gives you different, more or less random buffs that you can get at the start of combat. Or if you can just, like, say, oh, I got a status ailment. No, I don't. Not anymore. I cured it myself. I just said, no, you didn't inflict paralysis on me. It's gone now. Which is extremely fun. To just say, oh, you thought you could paralyze me. Nope. Oh, look, I get to start the game, or start the battle with, like, double, with an attack buff. Or, hey, I can recharge my SP if it's low enough. But you have him, and he's kind of a standard S-Link, and then you have more or less your new party member, Kasumi, if you've seen any footage. And you're also introduced to her as a party member at the start of the game, and the, like, in media res opening. But the thing is, her S-Link is, like, half the levels, because it's only up to 5. But you have to get it up to 5 before a certain point so you can unlock the third semester, I think. I haven't super read up on how to get the third semester, but I assume just do what I would normally do if I'm doing max S-Links, and I will get third semester, because I think it's S-Link related. But yeah, otherwise, all the gameplay changes are fun. Like, having more of a focus on you doing status ailments and capitalizing on those status elements to do the big damage, especially on enemies that don't have any weaknesses you can exploit, it makes going up against those enemies more fun, because now you're trying to find yourself in a rotation of buffs, debuffs, status elements, damage, redo your buffs, redo your debuffs, status elements, damage, trying to keep that rotation going. Because depending on the status element, you can negate an enemy's attack with that status element. Because like paralysis will stop them from attacking. Forget will stop them from using any of their special moves. And make them like just try to straight up punch you, which is way less damage. So like trying to find that rotation is like really neat. At least 2 bosses I think have new mechanics to them, or feel like fairly new. Dungeon 2's boss has a whole new like second phase to it. And I think the 3rd boss just cuts out a phase and just is this, or it just hops into its main boss fight until its 2nd phase where it does something different. Where it has goons you have to deal with. So I'm curious on how the rest of the bosses are going to go, because the first boss had a new move, more or less. So Persona 5 Royale is fun. I enjoy it. I enjoy playing it for just a couple hours and burning through a whole bunch of content in one go. I also enjoy just running through a dungeon in one go as well, because I know what I'm doing. And as long as I have SP recovery items and SP recovery capabilities, which now the baton pass, which is a mechanic you can do if you hit an enemy weakness, it drops them, and it gives you another attack. Instead of spending that attack, you could pass that attack onto your party members. In the base game, you just pass the attack. But now in Royal, when you pass the attack, you give them an attack buff, and if they have a high enough baton pass rank that you can increase by doing social activities, you get them to recover health in SP when you pass them. And what's even better is the more people you pass to out of your party, the higher the attack damage goes. So if you keep up doing weaknesses, because when you baton pass and they attack, if they get a weakness, they get another attack, they can baton pass again, increase attack, increase health up, increase SP up, they attack, get a drop, more. And at the end of it, you get a free attack, more or less, that spends no resources. If it's a physical attack, you don't take health damage. If it's a magic attack, it doesn't cost SP. But you have to get more or less 3 weaknesses in a row on 3 separate enemies. So it's difficult to do, to get to that. But when you do it, you get a big attack, and you get free, and it's free. So once more incentive on like being strategic with the combat, which is what I enjoy. I guess I'm just one of those people that kind of end up liking more strategic combat, especially turn-based combat that makes you go, okay, time to plan 5 moves ahead. Because that's what Persona 5 Royale kind of turns into in combat. It's just, okay, I have this, 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 and this. They're weak to this. Okay, what's my next 5 moves? Per character. Plot this out. So I can more or less like 3-shot them. And make them never touch me. Because if you're going Max S-Link on your first playthrough, and not on New Game Plus, you more than likely have to clear a dungeon in one go. Which is hard. Because you will exhaust your resources, because bear in mind, you're facing several mini-bosses along the way. Like, you're not going to face the main boss, but you're going to face all these mini-bosses that are going to impede your progress and will drain your resources. So whether or not you can pull it off is dependent on your skill, really. But New Game Plus, you get more opportunities, because a lot of stuff carries over that makes just doing Max S-Links easier, which is just your main social stats. Those carry over, so if you have them all at 5, well, I don't have to like go flip burgers anymore unless I need money. And I think since your money also carries over, you don't need to do that either. Yeah, it's just like, I don't need to read books. I don't need to like answer questions correctly. I could just literally say whatever I want. I don't have to do X, Y, or Z things So I can literally just do all my social links like back to back to back, because whatever requirements they need, I just can just do them. And I don't even have to be optimal and have a persona on me that matches that X-Link in terms of its Arcana. So I can just do whatever. But yeah, Royal's fun. I'm going to keep chipping away at it. I might have it done in the next few weeks or so. But I don't really have anything else except that there's apparently a Disney mobile game called Disney Mirrorverse. Have you heard of this?
No.
Okay. I need like the perfect picture of this to show on stream.
Was the one not streaming?
Yes. Exactly. Because speaking of alternate timeline bullshit, this isn't like the best image because it's kind of on the small side, but what if Disney characters had like alternate histories and you ended up with with Belle, who's a magician, and Rapunzel, who's a warrior queen, I think?
Huh.
It is weird. I am tempted to go investigate it. Anything else before we move into articles?
I don't guess so.
Alright then. We don't have that much honestly interesting to talk about, so we're probably gonna rapid fire some of these. So first up, Fortnite Chapter 2 Season 2 is extending its end date. It will not be at the end of the month. It will be in June, actually. So they've extended it practically an entire month.
Is that because of the coronavirus?
I don't think they specified.
I'd say it's probably going to be just a case of this is kind of going to be the norm.
Yeah.
At least for this chapter of Fortnite, and I feel like that's probably for the better.
Yeah.
And
so
here's kind of why I feel that way. The simple fact that Season 1 for Chapter 2 did last as long as it did, I feel like might have kind of gave Fortnite that break from being in the spotlight that everyone was kind of getting tired of.
Mm-hmm.
And look at what it gave them the ability to do. I mean, the whole Battle Pass screen got reimagined with them being able to start implementing challenges in it.
Yeah.
It's like, I feel like that's the direction we're going.
Mm-hmm. I honestly kind of enjoy this season, at least on theme, and how they're trying to implement challenges.
And I like having the one outside MacGuffin that we kind of have sitting there the whole season.
Yeah.
Case in point, the Deadpool skin.
Yeah.
Now, granted, it doesn't have to be necessarily something major like that. It could just be a skin they could create on their own. But I kind of like that mentality of, we've got Deadpool in here, he's just kind of off to the side doing his own thing, giving a little bit more to the lobby side of the game.
Yeah. And the fact that the secret skin for the Battle Pass is just out in the open, and it's just like, oh, you're working towards it every week. Like every week, you're doing something related to it to get like a piece of the set. Is nice to give you something else to work towards besides just grind out the levels for the battle pass to get all the gear there.
The other thing I kind of like, but I wish had a little more customization, was the build a character that they have brought in.
Yeah, I like Maya. I wish there was like more diversity to it.
Yeah. Yeah, I feel like that customization level's just not there.
Yeah. I do like the idea of, over the course of the season, you are building a skin. Like, keep that idea, keep that concept, but put more into it, put more options, more diverse options, especially in how the character looks.
Yeah, because I kind of feel like you're pretty much going to have one of 3 versions of the character. And you're not going to notice any of the other minor details.
Yeah, especially if you can do like what the scarf is, where the scarf is, you can pick a custom color. If you can do that for like all of it, for the like an armor, that would be great. Like
or maybe even expand it to, instead of you're only building one character, maybe you can customize a certain maybe color set for any of the skins that you use, kind of deal.
Yeah. Yeah,
like,
that would be cool.
Obviously, you would have to rein it in a little bit and be like, okay, well, maybe they can only pick a primary color that can be shared across all the skins or something like that to kind of start into it. But I feel like maybe taking that and expanding it a little bit would maybe even be a better option.
Yeah. Also, keeping the ability to preview all of what you want and kind of soft lock your choices. Because even if you couldn't access the challenge, you could still scroll through all the options and see how they look together to more or less like pre-build it before you got to do all the challenges. So when you did do the challenge, you go in and it's already on that option. So you can quickly like lock in the option. I like that you could do that. So you can like pre-build, you literally were given all the choices to like pre-build it and like make sure you were really good on what you wanted. And once you like did a challenge, you could lock in that option. Keep that as well. That was really good and really nice. I'm trying to think of what else. The choice between the skins is nice, although I've kind of ended up picking all of the shadow ones except for the first one.
I kind of feel like it was too one-sided.
Yeah.
I like the game mode that we got introduced in, but at the same time, I feel like the game modes are literally just gonna be or shuffle in LTM modes.
Yeah.
So stuff like that I'm not expecting to ever see again, kind of deal.
Yeah, I like operations. Okay, I like operations when it's the intel drop, not the knockout tournament one. That I don't care for. I like the intel drop one because it's like, here's team rumbles, but it's in a smaller area consistently while the circle does move around from like over time. But you get to kind of build your loadout over the course of the game, so you're mixing and matching abilities and weapons, and you're always unlocking new abilities and new weapons to mess with. So you always have like different things to play with every match, and that's fun to me.
I'm gonna say this, and this is probably a coder's worst nightmare. I would kind of dig it if we had some kind of a mix match between them, where maybe we had it function more on par with Team Rumble, but maybe as the circle closes, it also can reposition.
Yeah.
Like, go ahead and have the whole map available, and then maybe let first circle be in a set location, and then after that, kind of it can move and shrink at the same time. That way it doesn't completely force you to move constantly, but it also kind of doesn't force teams to just say, I'm camping in the middle.
Yeah. Honestly, I think Operations has been the most fun thing I've done in Fortnite in probably forever.
That, and honestly the raid locations.
Yeah. Like, the raid locations feel better than the boss fight we did, because the boss fight felt not designed for what it was being put in.
Yeah.
Whereas these feel like these are built for, like, Battle Royale mode. Like, I know people don't like the AI because the AI will rip them apart, but I feel like if you're careful, you're fine.
The AI is a little too OP. It could be dialed back just a little.
Yeah, take the damage down a little.
I don't think it's horrible either.
No.
I kind of would dig, seeing how Save the World has became after this whole AI test.
Mm-hmm.
Because I have a funny feeling this is probably changing something with it, and or fixing to bring Save the World over.
Yeah. But just fucking do it at this point. Just make it free to play. I'm pretty sure you're making more than enough money off the cosmetics in Save the World, or not Save the World, in the Battle Royale mode, to make up for whatever money you would have for fucking Save the World from people paying the $40 for it. Or,
here's a novel concept. Do something with the Battle Pass. That way you're still, even the people that want to play the single player part of it, you still could be like, hey, if you buy the Battle Pass, then you can get this stuff and Save the World too. And kind of turn it into mini DLC packs for each season.
Yeah, like, give a bit more value to the Battle Pass, being like, hey, you buy this, get this thing and Save the World as well.
And I mean, it could be reused assets from the Battle Royale mode. It doesn't have to be something brand new.
I think all that stuff gets reused for Save the World, to be honest.
So, I mean, it's not like they'd be doing extra work.
Yeah.
That'd just be a way they could still pander that $10 a season to the Save the World people, too.
Yeah. Maybe if you get the Battle Pass, you get one of the skins from the Battle Pass in Save the World.
Maybe, since you go that direction, maybe it be like the Tier 100 skin in Save the World.
Yeah. Get one of the cool skins you get in the Battle Pass. It's just like, oh, hey, you get this in Save the World now, too.
Or truthfully, I could see them just being like all of them kind of deal.
Yeah, that is...
Because, I mean, Save the World does function on its own, so by giving everyone the skins and Save the World, that wouldn't do any negative to Battle Royale. Actually, if anything, it might help push the Battle Royale mode a little harder, because people could go over to Save the World, see how the skin looks, and possibly go grind in Battle Royale to get the skin.
Mm-hmm. A bit of cross-pollination is all it needs to, like, make Save the World, like, enticing. But anything else?
No?
Well, coming out of nowhere, Firaxis has announced a new XCOM game. A kind of a mini XCOM game, I feel like, where you're playing as a multi-faction XCOM squad that's made up of not just humans but also some of the aliens in a post XCOM 2 story. These are set characters, mind you, so I guess it's more of a story of this squad, which is XCOM Chimera Squad kind of game, but still all the XCOM gameplay. Probably a bit simplified because this is a budget title, which they've also got kind of an interesting concept for it. So starting April 24th, this is $10. But as soon as it becomes May 1st, it will be $20. I kind of like this, to be honest. I kind of like this. It's just like, hey, here's a budget XCOM title. If the idea of having a whole bunch of RNG kind of scares you, here's an XCOM game with less RNG. Not all of it out, but less. I kind of dig this. I might pick this up at some point. How do you feel about a budget XCOM game?
I mean, I might be interested, but I'd probably want to see it first. Kind of deal.
Yeah.
And I don't mean the promotional push out videos. I mean actual just people sitting down playing it kind of deal.
Yeah. But hey, something to look out for. We also have some Lego Mario news.
Let's go.
So on top of the set we've already seen, which is called the starter set, there will be a Bowser's Castle set, which I think has no Peach, so it's just kind of Bowser. Which feels weird to be like...
I mean, your princess is in another castle, so I mean...
Yeah, it just feels weird. Just be like, here's a Bowser's Castle set with no Peach. Like, where's Peach? Why are we going kicking the shit out of Bowser this time? If he's not done anything wrong.
True.
But also, the price on all this.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, the starter set is $60. That is like Mario, Bowser Jr., and all that. Legos are expensive. But past that, in the video, they show off a Piranha Plant power slide where you try to bounce Mario between two Piranha Plants. I guess as a little mini game. That is $30. And then the Bowser Castle set is $100.
Oof.
Oof, indeed. Legos are expensive.
Oh. And the starter set's required to quote-unquote unlock the expansions. So
yeah, I don't know exactly what the hell that means.
Basically, to get the full effect from Bowser's Castle, you would be looking at $160. Because you would have to get the starter plus that set.
Yeah, that's, I don't like this gimmick. I'm liking this less and less.
Oof.
Yeah, oof indeed. And speaking of things that make me nervous, so you know how Capcom's been remaking all of the Resident Evils in order?
Yes.
Well, you know how the next one in line is technically Code Veronica?
I guess.
in terms of the main Resident Evils. We're skipping that one because we're skipping straight to Resident Evil 4, that is apparently maybe currently in progress to be remade. Along with the brand new Resident Evil 8, which will be in line with Resident Evil 7 in terms of the first-person gameplay stuff. Not the RE4 one. The RE4 one will probably be in the style of RE4 because RE2 and RE3 in terms of remakes are kind of like RE4. Which makes me kind of question why we're remaking RE4 if RE4 is kind of the basis for the RE2 and RE3 remakes. It's being done by M2 and is slated for 2 years from now. How do you feel about this? Because I have reservations.
Honestly, don't know how to feel on that one.
I don't know what you do. Because RE4... Because, like, again, like, the RE2 and RE3 remakes, the core of their gameplay is the same kind of gameplay RE4 has. The over-the-shoulder, third-person action. They just, 2 and 3 have more survival horror elements because those were more survival horror games, whereas 4 is more of an action game. So how do you update this? You just give it like RE2 and RE3 remakes controls? And balance around that? If so, you've not really changed anything. Because that's
maybe refine the graphics a bit.
Yeah, I guess. But like at that point, you're just making RE6, because that's RE6, and nobody likes RE6. Because what I'm worried about is you remove all the charm and all the fun stuff that RE4 does. You remove all of the cheese. Like, if you don't have a villain talking about how he's an American and getting into a knife fight with Leon, like, what am I playing? What am I playing? Because that's not RE4 then. And if you don't have Leon spouting off one-liners for every other line he says, that's also not RE4, because that's Leon in RE4. Is every other line of his is a one-liner. I don't know. I guess I just feel nervous about this because I'm like, okay, jump from RE2 and RE3 to their remakes is pretty substantial because, you know, those were PS1 titles and completely different in how they played. So it's a completely different experience. I don't know what new you're bringing to the table here. I need to know what new you're bringing to the table here, to be honest.
Unless we're going first person.
I don't like that because but it really then would be like not RE4 then if you're going first person. I don't know. I would need to see this if this is true. But anything else?
I don't guess so.
All right then. So since we're short on articles, you want to do another tier list?
Might as well.
Well, this is the shorter of the two Final Form ones because the other Final Form ones have everything thrown into them. So all of the movies in extra Final Forms, all the secondary and tertiary, and all the other writers' Final Forms, they throw in everything. This is just the main writers and then the TV series stuff at that. So I don't know how you want to tackle this outside of just do the phase 2 characters or not?
Maybe just do the phase 2, because I mean, I feel like, yes, while we saw in Decade, we did kind of see some of it, but at the same time, it's like, I don't think that's a fair justification for that either.
Yeah, we've been kind of exposed to some of these and kind of not at other times, so. Like, I'm just gonna quietly put Kuga Ultimate right at the top of the tier list, and it's just and just be like, that's up there for me forever, and you can't tell me no. Yes, I know it's the only one episode of the series, but it's a damn good episode, and it's a damn good suit. And I hate Rising Ultimate because it trashes on this suit by not doing Rising aesthetic. And this is beautiful Rising aesthetic, so. Yeah, so that's up there, and I'm just trying to organize this list so it's in order first. Because nobody puts these images in fucking order.
Yeah, that kind of is a little aggravating. So I guess... Okay, I know we said phase 2. Do we count Decade in that, since we have seen his in action?
Well, but we'll do the ones we know.
Okay.
More or less, so.
Don't mind me as I'm gonna reorganize stuff. That's a questionable one on my part. Those final form. That's a questionable one.
Yeah, I know, it's only Puto's era, and that's not. There's Tajidor's not also here. And I'm about ready to be like, well, Tajidor's also in this conversation, but it's just it's counted for both of those slots. O's is one of those you could debate that for hours, and I don't feel like debating on what is O's final forms. Just take what you want and move on.
Now, how are we going about ranking? Are we treating like sheer power, or are we taking like all factors of it into consideration?
I would say, personally, how I judge these is the design, it's like usage in the series, and then like its powers and fancy things it can do in terms of just like its showcase.
Okay.
This is not necessarily a which one is the strongest. It's more like, how do we rank these as suits in a show that got showcased and the stories attached to them?
The reason I was asking is because if we go off of sheer power, some of these might be a little more overpowered than others.
I am not having a power level conversation about fucking Rider final forms. God, I do not want to have a power level conversation with Rider. That is...
No.
Look, I get it. Sogo wins because he has time powers and he gets to have all of the riders fight alongside him. Okay? Cool.
Except, I do have to kind of even argue part of that one because of the simple fact of Grand Geo pulls the base rider suits for all the others.
No, it pulls them all. It pulled Build and Genius, Oz and Gatakiriba, Kuga and Pegasus, and Gaiman Suika Arms in its first fight. It can pull whatever the fuck it feels like. And in the Gates v Cinema, he pulls Oz and Putotera, Double and Fang Joker, and then Fies and Blaster. So again, it can pull whatever the fuck it wants.
Anything. Okay.
It can pull whatever the fuck it wants, more or less. which is one of those. This is why I'm not having a power level conversation.
Okay, here's the other thing though that I could argue with that one. He's limited to the confines of the usage of the power. Because we never see new footage of any of the attacks from those forms, do we?
Sometimes yes, sometimes no. It depends on the fight.
Okay, let me put it this way. The way the show explains it, he doesn't. He pulls them from different times, and then the attack just kind of happens, and they go back to their time.
Yeah.
So, I guess to a point, he is limited to that.
Mm-hmm.
Which might actually put Decade being a little more powerful than him.
Well, the problem with Decades is that all of his summons just copy what he does. And that's kind of it.
Yeah, but that means he can at least control what they do.
Yeah.
Chances are, when Decade does it, the attack's not gonna whiff.
Yeah.
If Geo does it, that possibility's there.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, that was one of those main things I'm like, yeah. I don't know if going like off of power level is the best thing, but yeah.
Yeah. So, anywho, Decade complete. Wonderful Decade complete and all of its cards. I don't hate Decade complete.
Honestly, kind of feel like it's the worst design-wise outside of Grand Geo. Out of the ones we've seen. Like, Grand Geo is the worst. That design choice was stupid.
So can we just put Geo in trash here and not have to talk about Geo?
Honestly, that works for me.
And put just Decade 1 above him?
That's actually kind of fitting, yeah.
So we have a nice baseline.
Because truthfully, I feel like they both could pretty much be like on the same par, worst case scenario, because the reasoning for the suits in both cases are kind of cobbled together hot messes of a story leading into it.
Yeah. Yeah.
So they're both equal on that part of it too, and it's like,
And I love how Tsukasa completely forgets that he has this form of his throughout the entirety of Geo and doesn't use it.
Yeah.
Like that, or the K-Touch is incompatible with his new Deca driver?
You know, I didn't think about that. That might be the problem.
Yeah.
It
which
can't
feels like
handle the pink Deca driver.
Yeah, which feels like wow, we got cheated out of a Neo Decade complete. With more cards.
Yeah, but how much more dumb can that look? And we already have Grand Geo doing an even worse version of the cards.
Yeah, but I'm pretty sure someone's done that. Done a mock-up of that.
Like, I don't even know how you could fix Decade's design to make it work with the show is the problem. Geo's design, at least you could figure out a way to make it work a little better.
Yeah.
It still would probably look bad, but it could look better than it does.
Well, I have seen 2 mock-ups of this, and one of them just copies Grand Geo's placements for the most part. The other keeps the chest the same with the cards going across and puts the rest of the Neo Heisei riders on the arms and legs. More or less, there is mock-up 2. Here is mock-up 1 that also gives him coattails. With the extra long link. For some stupid reason.
Okay. Thought for the second image that you put there.
Yeah.
What if he had a coattail made out of the 20 cards? Or 19 cards, my bad.
That might be better.
Because I feel like that would work better. So there is potential for that, actually. That could work better.
Yeah, there is.
That's weird how adding one detail to the suit could actually have solved that problem.
Mm-hmm.
I think Grand Geo's just screwed, though.
Yeah.
Like, the better option could have been, instead of actually having the riders being printed in it, maybe have each of their symbols.
Yeah, because that works for the Heisei Armor Ghost suit, which is just the symbols.
The other thing could potentially be doing something like that and trying to utilize their colors too, but maybe instead of going with the gold that they did with Grand Geo, do something like how Genius was, with more of a white base suit, because that would probably work too.
Yeah.
But yeah, in their current shape, neither suit's worth a darn.
Yeah. Also, if you're going to use a royal purple, actually use a royal purple and not a light purple, because that's not royal purple. Royal purple is a deep purple. I cannot believe that they didn't use a deep royal purple for the suit where Sogo becomes more or less king. How? It is closer to a Pucho Terra purple than it is. Or a royal purple is closer to a Pucho Terra purple than the purple they used in Grand Geo.
Yep.
Ugh. Anyway, Double Extreme. I don't want to put it up top because it's super good. It's the double aesthetic, except we expanded the middle part, and then we had a really good 2-episode arc leading into it, and Double Extreme kind of just becomes kind of a plot point for the rest of the series, where literally the last fight is them delaying and using Extreme until the very last time they need it.
I feel like the only complaint that I can have is actually its benefit too, is that it's simple.
Yeah.
Like, that's the only complaint, but at the same time, it's not really a complaint because that's the thing that makes it stand out.
It makes me really curious what 01's final form's going to look like. 01 has kept all of his upgrades fairly simple.
Yeah.
Nothing's went super over the top. I think the most complicated one he's had is like Shining Assault. And that's like a hybrid form, because it's using a bit of Assault Wolf in it.
Yeah.
Because I know I've seen someone speculate on Toku Nation that it will have wings of some variety because of kind of the repeated wing metaphors that have been going on between the Humagears and the Grasshopper aesthetic that Zero One has through all his forms.
Maybe.
Yeah. Because he also brought up a good point with
that might work if we have the dual key system wind up being introduced into it.
Mm-hmm. Because he also brought up how another 01 has representation of all of his forms in it, even before they were introduced. Because aesthetically, it, like silhouette-wise, it looks like Shining. It has the locust attacks of Metal Hopper. The only thing that it has that 01 doesn't have is it flies. Which is one of those, that's weird. Also, I forgot to tell you this the other day, but we got a bit of third quarter scans, or not scans, information. I revealed an interesting thing, that the big villain that's supposed to be revealed next month for 01 is getting an RKF figure. And that doesn't seem significant, just me saying that, except that every single RKF figure is a rider from any series that it has under its belt. Which means our final villain is a rider of some variety. Bear in mind, there is no name attached to this, just villain. And it would not be Thouser. Thouser's already in RKF. Before anyone thinks that, oh, it's Thouser, right? Nope, Thouser's already in RKF. But anywho, O's, Putotera, Tajador, either, both, whatever you want to count this as.
I mean, I guess from a technical stance, yes, Putotera is, but it's one of those kind of, should it be?
Isn't it kind of both in Tajador?
Yeah. Like, I feel like it's should be kind of both.
Yeah.
And I guess it more depends on how you interpret it.
Mm-hmm. But I feel like for anyone, that is how the argument for Final Form conversation should just go. This is your interpretation of it. We are not like wholeheartedly dealing with definitions unless we want to bring in Toei's definition of this. Because for Toei, it's Putotera. It will always be Putotera. It has never not been Putotera.
I mean, like I said, technically I can understand that.
Yeah.
It's just one of those that I kind of have arguments over that.
Yeah. But I guess other than that, just looking at Putotera, I like it. I like how it contrasts all of Oz's forms with the white undersuit, the far more bulkier design to it. It's, for all intents and purposes, it's the complete opposite of everything about Oz's aesthetic.
Yeah. And that really kind of fits the form too.
Yeah.
Because it's the rage form, so to say.
It's the rage form. It's the anti-desire form.
And it's one of those, it's like, yeah, that every bit of that is kind of the opposite of what O's is supposed to be. So, yeah.
I'm kind of willing to put it up there with double.
Yeah, I'm kind of with you.
Now a fun one. Good old Cosmic and its big ass rocket sword. I don't. It's the first one of our final forms that like does the all-in-one form.
Yeah.
Which they don't get to use that often in the series. But the times they do get to do it, I like it because it's these nice creative combination of switches that goes, okay, some of these just feel like one-off switches, but combined with other stuff, they could be fun. And that's what I
kind of feel like Cosmic got underutilized.
Yeah, and for me, the all-in-one forms, you need to have fun with the fact that you have everything in the toolbox now on one form. The more you do that, the more I like the form.
Case in point, when we get to it, Gaim.
Yeah, Kiwami got to do all the stuff because it was just, hey, I have access to all the weapons, and I could just throw weapons at you if I wanted. And that what made Kiwami fun. It was a budget-friendly version of Cosmic, I feel like. I guess other than that,
I kind of feel like if Cosmic was utilized to its fullest, it could be more, but outside of that, I feel like the other issue we might have hit was too many switches.
Yeah, it's one of those cases I feel like is when Bandai is selling a gimmick that has no electronics in it, they overdo them to the point of a lot of them lose meaning. It happened to Forza, it happened to Drive, it happened to Ghost, it happened to Build. All of them have too much gimmick that a lot of them just lose significance over time. And you kind of focus more on the bigger jumps instead of the side jumps. So yeah, I guess I don't know, Hyper or Super on Cosmic. I'm not sure.
I'm not either.
Because I'm like, it has a really good 2 episodes leading to its debut. But it doesn't have that much after that. Because the big moments for the final boss are with base states. I kind of want to say Super. I'm willing to go middle of the road on Cosmic.
Yeah, I probably could see that then. Yeah. Because it did kind of lack after its debut kind of deal.
Yeah. Alright. Infinity for good boy Haruto. I feel like this is another one of the...
I feel like with this one they kind of wanted to kind of call back to the whole double kept it simple.
Yeah.
Except maybe with Wizard that didn't work as hot.
Yeah, because like, I clearly remember that there were magazine scans to preview like the next month of episodes of Wizard, where Infinity got to use a bunch of the spell rings and got to do fancy cool things with the spell rings that never happened in series. I wish I could remember what it was. Like, bind, he got to, like, use as an attack. Like, all of the spell rings changed up because he was using Infinity. And a fight with White Wizard, I believe. But none of that happened. The Excalibur has the wrong finisher attached to the wrong attack name. Which bugs me to no end. But thematically, it really works as being the fifth element, as being light, as being literal hope, as being Haruto's true magic, the magic he created for himself outside of White Wizard Wise Man's plans. The suit is gorgeous because the light blue with the silver and the black, and all the light blues in this crystal look is just really good.
Yeah.
And I like that even when you throw on the all dragon parts on this, for the 2 different times Infinity uses them, one is when when it's just the all dragon parts, and the other one when it's gold, it still works. I kind of wanted to put it with Forza because it's like anything that would elevate it above Forza just isn't there in the show.
Yeah.
But it still has all the good marks for me for a final form.
Yeah, I kind of agree on that one.
Kiwami. So everything we say that are good marks on that, add on that Kiwami is fun to watch in fights because it's just, hey, I now have like all the weapons. Let me just throw weapons at you. Let me hit you with all the weapons.
Yeah, Kota literally throws all the weapons, including the kitchen sink.
Yep.
And it's one of those, it's like, I feel like it had good writing to set it up, and it had good choreography to kind of keep the suit pushed to its limits kind of deal.
Yeah.
I don't feel like I've got anything bad to say about it, really.
Yeah, not just like those 2 episodes, like not just its introduction to episodes, but like pre that on terms of like introducing Kachidoki, because that's kind of the start of it.
Yeah.
It's Kachidoki's Lockseed as a part of it. But going forward, and even like kind of foreshadowing Kota's eventual fate. And Kiwami still being worked into Kota's like current like outfit designs as a character. Like Kiwami is still present in that.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's one of the best ones.
Yeah. Hands down.
Yep. So type Trideron for Tamari. It got like, it's one that has all the tools in the toolbox forms, but as its own gimmick. But it only got to use that gimmick 3 times for 3 different sets, even though there are tire mix-ups for all of the shift cars.
Yeah.
Like, even the Type Formula trio, there's a tire mix-up for. And, like, that's the one I'm just like, what is that one? What do you get when you combine Trideron with Formula? More or less. But it kind of makes up for that by being able to literally shoot the Trideron at its opponents to run them over as an attack. So you get points back for that. It still had a good 2 episodes up to it, but it then kind of just became another form after it.
Yeah. I wish they'd done a little bit more with the fact of, the whole technically 2 people in one body within the form.
Yeah, because Krim and Tamari are kind of like linked in the mind on that one. I still wish they did it.
And it just doesn't really get used that much.
It gets used for the initial fight, and that's it.
I think it does get used at another point too.
It gets referenced in
like it's only used like 2 times at most, and it's like, eh.
It gets referenced in the movie, and it's kind of used as the way to like forward the plot of like Krim going bad in the movie, which is meant to be a swerve in the end. I don't know. I don't know if I want to put it like above Forza and Wizard, because like it does have some stronger things, but I'm also like it's kind of on the same level. I don't know. It feels a little in between.
Yeah, it kind of feels a little in between the two.
Yeah.
Like it's not quite enough to make it better, but at the same time, it's not exactly on par either. Because another thing too, whereas with Forza and Wizard, they kind of actually look like their own forms. Trideron kind of, you can tell there's parts from all the major forms leading up to it.
Yeah.
And it's like, I don't know.
Although I will say, I can understand why the other tire mix-ups didn't happen. Because coincidentally enough, the individual tires that make up that tire mix-up, all the ones we didn't get to see in series are missing an actual official tire design within that trio. All of them except the Formula One. Which still makes me sad we don't get to see the Formula One.
The only thing I can think of with the Formula One is maybe because of the way that it is. Maybe it just... there wasn't an easy way of pulling that off.
Yeah. Because you didn't have to figure out, okay, what powers does this have based off the kind of situational powers of the others.
Well, and another thing, and actually now that I'm thinking more about it, this might be the whole reason why we didn't see the Trideron ones. I mean, not the Trideron ones, the Formula ones.
Yeah.
Formula's tire changes happen on the wrist.
Yep.
With the little bitty tires.
Yep.
That might be the whole reason. I mean, I know they're CGI stuff, but that might be the problem.
Yeah. For reference, folks, the other ones that we missed out on are American Dream, which is Vegas, Cab, and Circus. And I think Circus is the one missing a tire in that one.
I think you're right.
I have to find the page on the writer wiki where I could see this very clearly. No, that's not it.
Yeah.
Probably not.
Actually, I have not seen Circus anywhere in the list for the different tire changes. So it's gonna be Circus.
Yeah, Vegas and Cab got theirs. Then you have Weather Report, which is solar, winter, and commercial. And commercial is the missing one out of that, I believe. Oh, and solar too. We never got solar. We only got winter out of that.
I was thinking we didn't get solar either.
Yeah. So we only got one of those. Tough Guy, which is Monster, Wrecker, Traveler, and I believe Traveler is the missing one out of that.
Yep.
And then Grand Prix, which is all three of the Formula ones.
Which, like I said, I have a funny feeling the reason for the Formula Ones is simply because of the fact of, the tires are on the wrist, so smaller tires.
Yeah.
Which that actually might be the reason for it. I don't know.
Yeah. So, moving on to the relevant one for us because of what we do on Sundays. Mugen! Mugen! Mugen, Mugen, Mugen. Mugen, Mugen, Mugen. Mugen, Mugen. All the Mugen. It kind of goes down with Decade, because it doesn't have a good episode leading up to it. Actually, no, 2 episodes leading up to it, actually, because all they do is just spam the word Mugen at us. And people's infinite potential. It's kind of all the toys in the toolbox, but those are just finishers, so it's not as fun to watch it, because it just pulls out a weapon to do a finisher, and that's it.
I don't know if with Ghost I would count that as all the toys in the toolbox, because technically it doesn't have access to the other parkas.
Yeah, it doesn't, but to do that you get into Grateful, and Grateful is far more fun to watch because you get in the heroic icons who get to do fun stuff, which is not this form. So it's the less fun form to watch fight. I'm kind of neutral on the Mugen design.
I kind of feel like so far where we've been with Mugen in the show, it's been a case of Mugen's there to deal the finishing blow, and that's about it.
Yeah. I kind of just want to slam it with Decade and just be like, here's Tsukasa, here's your final form partner of kind of boring final forms.
I kind of have to agree. And I also feel like with the design for Mugen, it almost feels like it tried to go for that simple look to it, but it kind of failed.
Yeah.
Because it went too simple. There's not really anything contrasting with it to kind of make anything stand out. And it's like,
even the jingle is like the least exciting final form jingle.
Yeah, it's bad when every other form has a better jingle than Mugen.
Yeah.
Yeah, I kind of agree. It can go with Decade, and Tsukasa can have him a friend.
Alright. Bill the Genius.
You skipped one.
Oh, did I? Oh, whoops. That's because they got swapped. Muteki, actually.
Oh.
So, this is not an all-in-one one. This is a standalone one. I really like the jingle to it. It probably doesn't help that I think it's Jam Project that does the jingle. I think the singer from Jam Project does it. And because he's singing about a golden warrior, it reminds me of Garo, and I can't help but make that connection. The fight introducing it is really good. Not necessarily the form, but I like that Muteki has utility for other characters by more or less giving them a star power-up for Mario. With an almost sounds like timer jingle with the star power-up. So I kind of want to give it like a half point for that. I think my only problem is it's just it gets pulled down because it's in the boring part of X8 where we just beat up Kronos every week.
Yeah. It kind of feels like its plot reason is just to have a way to, stop Kronos.
Yeah. And any other fight scene I can think about, it's a fun fight scene because he's paired with someone else. But the problem is he's paired with someone else to beat up Kronos. And I'm just like, God damn it. How many times does he beat up Kronos with somebody else?
About as many times as Sento beats a Volt into the ground.
Yeah. 'Cause I'm like, he beats him up with Paradox. He beats him up with just Brave. He beats him up with Brave and Snipe. I think the only person he doesn't go solo with is Snipe. And Laser. But I don't think he has a paired fight against Kronos with either one of them. It also doesn't help that the final fight of the season that finally gets rid of Kronos by him shoving the gas at him himself and disintegrating himself is in the base forms. And the fight before that is in the level 1 forms.
Yeah.
So it kind of gets put with Forza Wizard and Drive because of that.
Yeah, because it's kind of just uber not needed.
Yeah. So genius. I feel like you're gonna go with Uteki. Because all the same problems with Uteki you have, except you should have you are an all-in-one toolbox form, but you don't get to use it.
Ever.
No, he uses it once. He summons the ice shield that Rogue summoned once to block an attack.
And I think, wasn't that the debut though?
I think that was the movie. It was the movie or a later fight. I don't think it was the debut. It might be wrong. But again, he has all the full bottles accessible to him to use it in mix match power stuff, and he just doesn't use it. He just uses it to punch people and kick people and make their power level go down. I'm kind of just like, hey, genius, you suffer all the problems your techie does. Mm-hmm. Except I'm almost willing to dock you points by being less fun than Muteki. I'm not sure. Because if I do that, you're tied with Takaru, and I don't know if I want to say that you are on par with Mugen.
I don't think he was on par with me. Nope.
No.
Nope.
So that's all the phase 2, people.
Yep.
I love how we have this distinct gap between like 3, including me putting Ultimate up there, 4, and then the others. It's just like, I think it's like all 4 of them were missing just that one little special ingredient to put them above the others. And none of them have it. I'm trying to think of anything to say about any of these others. I'm almost willing to say Agito gets to join the you could have been great if you had the secret sauce club. Because it's missing coincidentally enough, it's missing the writing. It's missing the build up to Shining.
Oh wow.
Yeah, that's the secret ingredient is missing, is that in a way didn't put in the build up to Shining. Shining just kind of happens, which kind of sucks, because Shining is a really good suit. And it's a really, for what it is, which is just a suit with 2 swords, it's still kind of fun. Can Kabuto go into trash tier just because it's Kabuto?
I'm game with that.
Even though I don't mind Hyper as a design. And I like that for Hyper Clock Up, it does aesthetically, it does change a little bit. The armor kind of unfolds, and like it does look sort of, it shows the difference between like regular Hyper Kabuto and like clocked up Kabuto, which I kind of like. I like that idea. It's like a continuation of the armored and speed forms, I guess, of the Kabuto riders. Can I just put Blade higher than Grangio for being the same concept of Grangio but done better? Because Blade King form has more or less like Grangio has, with all of the images of the cards on his suit, but they look so much better.
Yeah, I can see that.
And I don't know where to put the rest of these, because I either don't know or don't remember their context. Like, I know sort of the context for Charge Up, but I don't know the full story. I think Ryuki Survive just kind of comes out of nowhere, and it's just like, I pulled the Survive card, I'm gonna slot it in. I don't know if Ice Blaster. Hibiki has build-up. It's kind of got like everything to at least be on par with Blade, at least. It might be up in the You Could Be Great club, but I didn't watch that far enough. Liner, I think, can go in between, because it has everything, but just isn't as interesting as everything else. Because not only does it have the build-up, it has the build-up from a movie tied into the series in order to get to... that and a previous form to get to Liner. It has all the build-up to get to Liner. It's just not the interesting form, I feel like. I think it has everything, but just doesn't have a good series behind it for me, or at least an interesting series. I don't remember Emperor, and like Neo Omega can just kind of get dunked in garbage tier because it's kind of nothing. Omega put on a new belt and got some armor bits. That's kind of it. So yeah. I'm willing to call that the tier.
That works for me. I guess we're on to releases.
Yes, and I'm curious how the community rank looks. Y is stronger in trash tier. Why? Also, how's it Decade in Neo Omega, or the next two down from, or next two up from there? Okay, people. Alright, releases. One of these releases might not be happening because of a thing I'll talk about later. So yeah, we're going to kick things off on the 20th. We're Car Trader Simulator for the Switch. Legends of Amberland, The Forgotten Crown for Switch. OMG Police Car Chase TV Simulator for Switch, and Shadows for Switch. On the 21st, we have Blademaster 02 Empress for Switch, and Help Will Come Tomorrow for Switch. On the 22nd, we have Brutal Rage for Xbox One, Help Will Come Tomorrow for Xbox One, and Ida for Switch. On the 23rd, we...
I guess Ida game.
Apparently. On the 23rd, we have Azure Striker Gunvolt Striker Pack for PlayStation 4. I think that's Gunvolt 1 and 2 on a console release, I think. So that would be worth picking up if anyone's interested in a Mega Man game. Or in a not Mega Man game, because that's more or less what Azure Striker Gunvolt is. We also have Code Realize Future Blessings, Base Day 1 Edition for Switch, Damage in Transit for Switch, Esports Legend for Switch, Little Busters Converted Edition for Switch, MotoGP 20 for Xbox, PlayStation 4, Switch, and Stadia, Sunless Sea Submariner Edition for Switch, and Yumetsusu Re-After and Remaster for Switch. On the 24th, we have Arkia, The Path of Light for Switch, Naruto Shippuden Ultimate Ninja Storm 4, Road to Boruto. God damn it. Thanks Releases for reminding me that is Naruto's son's name. Boruto. God damn it, for Switch. Predator Hunting Grounds for PlayStation 4, Sunless Sea Submariner Edition for Xbox One, Trials of Mana for PlayStation 4 and Switch, and War Theater for Xbox One. On the 28th, you might get Cooking Mama Cookstar for PlayStation 4, or you might not. It depends on how legal cases go. Oh boy! We'll get there. There is apparently an entire conversation you can have about that game. We also have Daymare 1998 Base Black Edition for Xbox One and PlayStation 4, Kingdom 2 Crowns for Android and iOS, Moving Out for Xbox One, PlayStation 4, and Switch, Showrunner for Xbox One and PlayStation 4, The Walking Dead Saints and Sinners for PlayStation 4, and on the 29th, we have Crawlers and Brawlers for Xbox One, Did Natural for Xbox One, PlayStation 4, and Switch, or Did Nautical for Xbox One, PlayStation 4, and Switch, Shred 2 featuring Sam Pilgrim for Xbox One, and on the 30th, we have Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2 Campaign Remastered for Xbox One, Commandos 2 Praetorians HD Remastered Double Pack for Xbox One and PlayStation 4, Levelhead for Xbox One and Xbox One and Switch, Ministry of Broadcast for Switch, Super Mega Baseball 3 for Xbox One and PlayStation 4 and Switch, and finally Swords of Gargantua for PlayStation 4. And finally, on the 1st, we have Arcade Spirits for Xbox One, PlayStation 4, and Switch. So, about that Cooking Mama game. I can't tell you the whole story to it because it is quite the story, which is why, if you go and look at the notes, there's a YouTube video linked to Matt McMuscle's What Happened series, where he did a video on this game and goes into the entire, as of the release of that video, story of this game that is more or less, here is a game that did have cryptocurrency mining implemented into its code at one point and was poorly optimized enough to potentially overheat your Switch, and is also not a good game, and is also not made by the people who made Cooking Mama to start with, and also was rushed out the door and is now under legal action to not be published anymore on the eShop because it was taken down the day of it going out a few weeks ago. Let's just say there's a story here that is still developing. And again, I highly encourage you to go to the notes because it's on the site and it's linked there. Go check out Matt McMuscle's video. He tells the whole story. I didn't. I heard little things about this, but I didn't know the full story until I heard this, and I just went, "What?" So yeah, there's the story here, and that is the most I have to say. So tell me, what is your quick draw?
Well, mine's shout out to like all of the updates I've been doing on the Pokemon Challenge. First one, obviously, as you can see right there, you now can put in the player name on the main page to then go to the player pages. Granted, you could, if you had the URL, you still can go there. That's not stopping anything.
Yep.
All filters are done. That is a lot of lines of code. Just saying.
Okay, I had a weird bug that required a refresh.
Okay. What kind of weird bug?
Select one of your filters real quick.
Okay. Which one did it to you?
So far, anyone I pick.
What do you mean? What's it doing?
It's like zooming in super hard.
I don't know how. It's like I'm selecting them and it's not doing that.
It might just be me. It's probably just me. Or, okay, I say zoom in. It's more like making the select bar for the Pokemon really long. I'm not sure what would cause how.
I don't quite follow, I don't think. Might send me a screenshot. That's weird.
Yeah. Hang on.
While that's going on, the other thing that I've added was a search. Also, I love the fact that this is just barely within range. But yeah, pretty much you can type in whatever you need to there and like...
That's what I'm seeing after I select a filter.
And...
I assume you are confused by the thing you are seeing.
How is that even?
I don't know. I think I need to stop touching things.
I don't...
But it fixes itself on a refresh. For what that's worth.
That's the... You're using Firefox, right?
Yes.
Okay. I've got Firefox installed.
Okay.
What the frick?
Oh, did it do you to you in Firefox?
What?
Technology!
That doesn't even... No. Like, that can't... What the...
It fixes itself on a refresh.
But it's not supposed to do that.
I know! That's like the only consolation I can give in this.
Huh. And it does it with all of it. Mm-hmm. This is so weird. I don't understand that at all. Also, I noticed there's like a weird lag before it does it.
Yeah.
So something must be going weird in Firefox. Okay, well that's something to look at. Anyhow, got the search over there, and you can search Pokemon and set it to a different slot. Okay, wow, what's going on here?
Oh, did it break it on an image?
Oh no, it's been slow.
Oh.
Oh, okay. It was Firefox's fault. But yeah. And if I was actually logged in, it would auto-save, and you could see everything be changed after. But yeah, I did that. I've also changed some of the point settings from where we finished Sun and Moon.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I got to thinking more about it, and I'm like, I think I've got a better option. Essentially now it's broke down into encounters, trainers, and then gym leaders, and or the trial battles. Yeah. Still is gonna have to be tested to see, but yeah. You know, that's got me puzzled now, because I don't know how that happened. Nor do I know why it's happening on Firefox. Chrome, it's working fine. That might have partially been my fault for not testing in Firefox.
Probably.
I don't take all the blame because it should have broke. It should have broken both. But yeah. But that's pretty much mine. I just kind of wanted to do another shout out since I've actually got it at the point where I'm almost done fooling with it. I say almost because, you know, probably gonna end up doing something else. Besides the, you know, fixing whatever the heck's going on with Firefox. But yeah.
I was curious because I selected a team and I wanted to check through a team builder, like what dumb things are these Pokemon weak to, or what's the main weakness I have to worry about on my team. The ground, apparently, outside of 2 Pokemon being immune to it. But anywho, that's all we got for the week, folks. In 2 weeks, we might have less. Because, by the way, Comic-Con's now canceled, so we don't usually get news out of it, but that's off the table. I'm trying to think of I don't think there's anything coming. I think there's a state of play coming up soon, maybe. I don't know. That's the only major thing I can think of at the moment. Because everything else is canceled and doesn't exist anymore. Not till next year.
I may or may not have found a way to just break everything, and it had something to do with me pulling up Firefox.
Oh no. Oh no. Oh no. Oh no!
Everything started going slow that I had opened, and it's like, uh-oh. What did I do?
But tomorrow we get to talk about the Ghost movie. I'm so excited to be bored at how fragile all these heroic icons are supposed to be. They are so goddamn fragile. There's that, and then this next week, we might finally get to wrap up shrines on Thursday because I found the shrine that requires me to be standing on a location for a blood moon, and I couldn't get it to proc. I found out that you can trigger a blood moon, apparently. Or you can force a blood moon. And, fuck, what was it? I think it's... not there. I read this literally Thursday while I was streaming. But you have to play for so many hours to cause it to happen. And like actively playing it, you cannot... anytime you're not moving and anytime you try to like skip, it doesn't count. I can't find it anymore. There was some explanation I was reading that said that it had to be like 7 hours in game time or something. This might be it. No. Oh no, 2 hours, 48 minutes, and 15 seconds of real world time. 7 days, 15 minutes of in-game time. Which is why I think I got a blood moon every time I started a stream. Because I had a blood moon when I started the stream this past week. So it means I should have a blood moon when we start next week, so I might be able to get that at the start of the stream. Or at least be able to force it. So there's that, but the day before, I'm going to try out the PlayStation 2 Rider game. That is an Agito Black and Ichigo crossover game. That may or may not be good. I have no idea. We're going to find out. This might go poorly for me. Because I'm out of options for a while until I think of some new options. Friday, you're thinking of doing some Double Dash?
Yeah, unless something changes.
And then next Saturday is... something.
Yeah, I have no idea.
And then next Saturday, we get to finally be done with the main series of Ghost with the final 5 episodes. Yay. We're almost done. Almost.
Almost.
Yeah. But anything else?
I don't guess so.
Alright, if you enjoy what you're watching, drop a follow. Really appreciate it. Chip away at that follower goal, because we got a follow while we were off stream today. So we're back up to 196. At TG Saloon on Twitter gets you updates on when we go live, and Point Discord and chat gets you the Discord link. Drop by, say hi. But that'll do it for me, for Tommy. Good night, everybody. We'll see you next time.